Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a review that I've already done. You'll get to see this bit in a minute. I've done the spraying with this already, but you're going to get to see how it performed. Now, the brush that we're looking at today is by SAGOLA. Now, not many people out there realise that SAGOLA did airbrushes. They're sort of renowned for their spray guns, as I'll pop a little picture up now. So if you're looking for a clear coat gun and you want to hammer some clear coat and get down, check out the SAGOLA 4600 Extreme. That's this one here. The video is on the channel, guys, if you want to see a bit of clear coating. But that's where I sort of found out about SAGOLA, was their spray guns. I didn't realise they did airbrushes until I clocked a couple of YouTubers that use SAGOLA in their artwork. I'll leave a link in the description to a brilliant artist that uses SAGOLA, so that will be in the description. So the one we're looking at today is the SAGOLA, and it's the XTECH range. This is their range of airbrushes. Now this one is the XTECH 100. On the back of the box it shows you the actual range that SAGOLA do. So we're looking at the XTECH 100 today. You've got the XTECH 200, which is a top cup airbrush but a little small cup to the top. Then you've got the XTECH 300, which is a bigger cup to the top. If you want to get a bit more paint, you've got that one. Then you've got the XTECH 400, which is a side feed. That's the one we're going to do a review on tomorrow. And then you've got the XTECH 500, which is a jar fed at the bottom. So you push the jar to the bottom of the brush. That's on a 0.5. So that's the range that SAGOLA do. We will take this out of the box and I'll show you the bits in the box. Talk a little bit about the brush, as I've done this bit of spraying already, so I'm going to talk to you a bit about what's happened here, but you'll get to see this in depth in a minute. So when you open the box, the first thing you're going to see is you get a crown cap in a bag, and it's like, that's weird, because usually you get the crown caps on the brush, but in the SAGOLA range you get a crown cap in the bag like that. The actual brush comes with a protective rubber sleeve over, so you take that one off, and then you get an anodized red protector cap as well. Now you can spray with that one on, because it's an open front, you'll be able to spray with that cap on, not a problem. But what we'll do is we'll take this one off for the demo. That exposes your needle, so you've got quite a bit of exposure on the needle out the front. So if you do get tip dry, tip torn, nice and clean, dead easy. We will put the other crown cap on. So it just locates to the front of your brush, nice and simple, how most crown caps do, just screws on the front. So you've got your crown cap to the front. So if you did want to do like a bubble back or mix your paint inside the reservoir, you can just put your finger straight over the front of the brush, press down, slightly pull back, and you'll bubble up inside the reservoir. That's the reservoir to the front there. So you can get probably about 6 or 7 drops of paint in there when you fill it up. Now, the reason why I like these style of airbrushes is I own 2 other brushes that have got the reservoir to the top. I've got the Sotar 2020 Slim, and I've got the Rich Pen A11, the A112A, I think it is, correct me if I'm wrong. It's got the scallop in the top. That's on a 0.2. But the beauty of these brushes is, if you paint straight on, if you're a person that paints straight to your panel, you can see full view of what you're doing. If you're a lefty like me, I tend to paint slightly to the angle like that and look at my artwork here and paint sort of to the side. If you're right-handed, you tend to paint sort of tilted to that way. It's just the way you go when you pick an airbrush up. If it's a top cup, you want to see a little bit more of your artwork, or if you've got a side feed, you put the side feed to the opposite side that you're looking on to move it out of the way so you can see a bit more of your artwork. But that's the beauty of the scallop brushes. You've got full view all the time. No matter what angle you're at, you've got full view. To the back of the brush, you've got the nice anodized body, and this matches the spray guns. So it's like they took a lot of the ideas from the spray guns and brought them down to the airbrushes with the colour coding. The dial to the back of this brush for your paint flow and your trigger is exactly the same as the fluid and the fan cap on a SAGOLA 4600 Extreme. It's the same sort of design at the back, nice and smooth. Nothing's clunky on this brush. When you undo the parts on it, like the body, it's very nice and smooth, very nicely machined and put together. When you screw it back up, you've got a little rubber seal, just nips up nice to the body. You've got XTECH 100 etched into the side of the anodised red piece there, and then you've got the SAGOLA logo here on the chrome body, and then you've got the manufacturing place is Spain just here. One thing I did feel with this brush as well is the trigger. Now, the triggers on these are very soft, so if you're wanting a lot of tension in a trigger, you're not going to get it on this brush, because this is very soft, pressing down and pulling back. Now usually when you wanted to adjust your tension in your trigger, you would take the back off and go straight to this piece here and tighten it up to put more tension in the trigger. Now that is fully closed and this trigger is soft. So if you were to open this one up, it's just going to make it more and more softer, guys. It feels to me exactly the same as a custom micron, the CNSB V2 trigger, where they're very soft pressing down and really soft pulling back. It just feels the same. When I picked this up, I thought, oh, that feels like a micron trigger. You've got a nice flat top with little grips, and it's just slightly angled forward, so really comfortable position when you put your finger to the top. You instantly find your sweet spot with this brush. You just put your finger on, yeah, and you're good to go. It's one of them brushes you just jump straight in. You find it and you're painting, not a problem. So that's basically the brush, guys. Nothing else really to sort of take you through. All the bits you get in the box, you'll get your little spanner. So you've probably all seen these. If you have not seen these before, these take your nozzle off the front. So if you take your crown cap off and the next part of the body, unscrew them two together, you will see your needle exposure and then you'll see your nozzle. You would basically undo the back, just slide your needle back and out the way and take your needle out, and then you would put your spanner onto that nut at the front and just undo that really carefully. Just undo it, take that off if you wanted to do a real deep clean, but there's very rarely you've got to take these off. If you keep your brush nice and clean, you'd be good to go. So that's what you'd use that spanner for, is to get that nozzle off there. So screw that back on. Needles are nice sort of, they've got a deep taper on them needles, sort of goes thick body and then just goes straight in down into the point. Nicely polished, smooth out the box, no roughness with the needles. I've found some of the cheaper airbrushes that you get, these feel like they've just gone through a piece of sandpaper, but this, nice and smooth. Locate your needle to the back, slide in, finger to the back, just put a little bit of tension, and then just nip your chuck up like that and you're good to go. Slide the rear body on, and that's basically the airbrush, guys. Simple, nothing hard about it. So what we'll do is, the only thing that you will need to get is an airbrush quick connect. Now you do get these ones in the box. Now these do screw to the bottom like that, but these ones are for the push on airlines, where you just sort of, with the rubber part of the airline, you just push it on and it goes up the little flutes there and grabs as you push it on. My advice is to pick up one of the quick connects like that, screw that to the bottom of the brush, and then you've got your standard 1/8 airline connection that just goes in the bottom like that. These are nice and cheap, so they're not going to break the bank, guys. So that's the brush all linked up. Really nice on the trigger. It's really soft, as you are going to see in this bit right now. So we've got the airline linked up. I'm running 20, I've just knocked this down to about 20 psi because my paint mix is sort of quite thin on this. Just pull a bit of paint through. I've took the crown cap off for the demo. So everybody wants to see details and lines and things like that. So we'll start off with some lines. Just getting used to this trigger. Yeah, it gets super fine down. This paint mix is a little bit old, guys, in this FW ink. But very nice trigger. Extremely soft trigger. Really soft pressing down on the air, and when you're pulling back, it's very responsive. You've only got to touch this trigger and you can get super down. I need to drop the air down on this. I'm just getting a little bit of spidering, but super fine down, guys. You've only got to touch that trigger. They're tiny little dots. Shading, a little bit of pressure. Really nice atomization on this brush. So they're the things that you need to look for when you're looking out with a brush, especially if it's detailed one, is how it atomizes, because these are the things you're going to need when you're painting your pieces of artwork. How responsive the trigger is for when you're going really up close and you want to get them tight little dots and highlights, and just how well consistent the paint flow is. They're the main things to look out for when getting a brush. But most of the time it's trigger. Everybody goes on about it's the trigger, the responsiveness, because if you've used some of the cheap brushes, they're really clunky in the triggers. You're sort of moving them really far back before you get paint, and it makes your life a lot harder painting with a brush that's got a real nasty trigger. But I can honestly say the SAGOLA is absolutely on point, and I am just I'm trying to move it as minimal as I can, and that paint's there. So very responsive. We'll blast that paint through. I'm going to try some Createx in it, because I gave the FW, I think this is my old bottle of FW inks, and I really shook this up well, and I think I've stirred a lot of the dried up paint that's in it, because it was just starting to go a little bit grainy on these lines. So I've got some illustration, so a lot of you guys will be like, yeah, I want to see what the illustration's like, because a lot of people, most people now are using illustration when it comes to painting. And straight away, absolutely flawless with the illustration. Yeah, really nice with the illustration. Super down on the dots, and you're literally, if you can see my finger, I am literally nudging. I'm having to lock my finger here to get absolute minimal movement in my trigger. So I'm literally just pushing down and just nudging my hand back, and it's instant on paint. Absolutely on point. So trigger response on this brush, very nice. It really is going down on them dots nice, consistent as well. We'll do some broader strokes with it, so you get to see what it's like full back on paint. Puts down quite a bit of paint. It will empty that cup there really quick. So my thoughts on it, very light. If you like light brushes, lightweight to your hand, this is the brush for you if you like something light. And if you like that sort of full view, so you can see what you're doing, these are the ones to go for with the little scallops in the top, because you just get full view. You can sit with this brush at any angle. So if you're a lefty like me, I tend to paint that way. If you're coming right-handed, you'll sort of lean this way, so you're looking across the brush here. Or if you like to paint straight on, you've got that access of your artwork at all angles. So that's the beauty of these ones with the scallops. But a very nice brush. Very consistent with the paint flow. Very soft as well. I'm just tickling that trigger. Yeah, really comfortable. So if you own a Rich pen, 112A, very similar to a Rich pen. That's the only thing I can base it to, is like a Rich pen or a Sotar. But I would say this is more comfortable than the Rich pen on the trigger, because the Rich pens are very strong in the trigger pressing down and pulling back. When you've painted with one of these for a few hours, you know you've painted with it, unless it's a very old Rich pen and it's softened right up, or you put a softer spring in. This is very soft, straight out the box. It's very soft. Reminds me of the softness of a micron in the trigger. The way it sits and goes down and comes back is because the custom micron feels the same, that real soft trigger. So very nice for precision work. And you can get down some really tiny details with it. So all in all, a good brush. Built well, comfortable, lightweight, easy to clean, as I will demonstrate now. Just a little bit of water in the top. Little artist brush, give that a little wash round in that little reservoir there. Blast through with your artist brush like that, with some airbrush cleaner or water, and you're clean and good to go. So nice and simple. I would say work with the crown cap off on these, because you are going to get tip dry. But just remember, if you're working with the crown cap off, be very careful when you're going up close to your artwork, because you can soon dink the needle into what you're working on. But you can work with the crown cap on. If you're a newbie and you're not comfortable with taking the crown cap off, just work with the crown cap on. If you get a little bit of tip dry, take your crown cap off, give it a little pinch or a little wipe with a cotton bud, and then put your crown cap back on, and you're good to go. So final thoughts on the SAGOLA, guys. Very nice brush, lightweight, so if you like a light brush, thumbs up. Chrome's nice, build quality's nice. I like the two-tone between the two. I like the paint adjusted at the back. I never use these. I never ever use these on these ones with them on the back. I just have that fully open, so I've got full movement of the trigger when I need it. But they are nice, smooth at the back. Nice little finishing touch there, which reminds me of the SAGOLA 4600, what I used in the body shop. Very nice trigger, extremely nice trigger. Lovely and soft going down. Once you get it on, and then you start to move back, that's where this brush comes alive. It's very responsive and soft going back. As I say, it feels a bit like a Micron, that softness of a custom Micron. The side feed, the V2 where it's got the flat top, it's a very similar soft trigger, so very nice for just puffing in tiny little bits of paint. So I hope you've enjoyed the review on the XTech 100. I'll leave a link in the description so you can go over to the website. There's a little write-up on there and you can order it straight from SAGOLA. But a very nice brush to look out for, guys. It's good that I picked one of these up because, as I say, you don't really get to see these. I've not seen many people using these, and a lot of people have said, I didn't realise SAGOLA did airbrushes. Well, now you know they do, and it's a nice brush. Prices, you'll see on the website the prices. I'm not too clued up on the price of this brush, but I think it's coming in at quite a reasonable price. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, click that subscribe, press that notification so you don't miss out on any more up and coming videos, because we have got another SAGOLA review coming up tomorrow, and that's going to be the side feed. Drop your comments, tell me your thoughts. If you own a SAGOLA, drop your comments, like to get a bit of feedback from you. And if you own this one, tell me what you think about it. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.